Welcome back, and today we're talking about the day I became a god, episode 3. So like always, let's just jump into it. This episode was one of those episodes that I'm glad it happened because I was really invested in this episode. I know last episode, whenever they were doing the whole movie scenes and the whole cameos of different movies, I was not feeling it. And this episode, they kind of did the same thing. I don't know if a lot of you watch Gordon Ramsey. I know he has a lot of TV shows, but I like food and I like, some reality TVs about food. And it so happens that Gordon Ramsay has some, and he does some of these things, right? Where he goes into a restaurant and he kind of, reinvents the restaurant and makes it into a successful restaurant. And that's exactly what happened in this episode. Yota essentially figured out that Sora, the reason why she got hurt was because she was running away from a loan shark that, loaned some money to one of her friends. I believe her name was Juguji. And, she runs a ramen shop along with her mom, and they were really struggling with money. So they kind of, decided to speak to a loan shark, got some money, and to keep the restaurant afloat, to keep the restaurant in business. But they were charging, what, 30% interest rate a month? That's absolutely crazy. Nobody can pay that, right? Especially when the restaurant is not getting any customers, right? So Yota and Odin came up, well, let me just say, Odin came up with the plan to save the restaurant, and Yota was the one that kind of went in disguise to get everything working together, reinvent the restaurant, change the menu, change the name. And, when he tried out the ramen, it wasn't necessarily bad. He thought it was good, but it was obviously expensive on ingredients because it doesn't have any preserves or anything crazy like that. Everything is organic, so it will be a little bit expensive, but it's forgettable, right? It was good, but not enough to keep people coming back and, eating the ramen. So that's when we see Yota, with the help of Odin, come up with this plan that would kind of bring life back to the restaurant. Starting off with the name change, they changed it to like Heaven's Ward or whatever the name of that restaurant was, to Fallen Angel. Has a little, catchphrase because, again, it's kind of like, an angel that came to Earth and is serving food. So that's awesome. And on top of that, they changed the menu to be a lot simpler, right? Go back to the basics. And even though it was a simpler menu, simpler ingredients, and everything was, less expensive, it was still very good. So people will come in and eat more ramen. So of course that made sense. And then the last thing was the Fallen Angel catchphrase. It will be used like a marketing ploy. So, every time the last drop of the broth will fall on the ramen, they will scream, the Fallen Angel has fallen. Really awesome marketing stuff. I don't know if it would work in real life. Maybe, who knows? I don't know if Japan has this type of ramen shops and they actually do this kind of stuff, like yell out whenever the last drop falls. Maybe some do, maybe some don't. Again, I don't know. I would love to visit Japan and try some of this ramen, because I will say, I don't know what it is about anime and their food, but I have yet to see an anime where they show food and it does not look good, because the ramen, the broth, the ingredients that were in this ramen looked absolutely stunning. I was getting hungry watching this anime, this episode, okay? So it was absolutely awesome. And then, of course, the last little bit, which I found really funny as well, was whenever Yota was doing the interview for TV to kind of, market the reopening of this restaurant, was really funny how he was saying that, he was into clothes design and he wore the same suit for 10 years. He climbed like a mountain with the same suit. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous, but this episode did have a lot of funny moments. I absolutely loved everything about it. Again, Yota saying that he won the baby face of the year because he's 40 years old, when really, come on, there's no way he's 40 years old. Heck, not even Jumanji believed that whenever he told her that. So it has some really great moments. Now, I also want to focus on the new character that we saw in this episode, right? Because we found a new character. His name was Suzuki. We learned that towards the end of the episode. And this person seems to be able to hack. I'm not going to say he is like another god. Maybe he is. Who knows, right? Who knows at this point? But again, Odin showed us that she does have the omniscience power, right? She knows everything that will ever happen. So again, I do believe that everything that Odin is doing is according to plan, in order to have Yota, ask that girl out. I forgot her name, but get them to be in a relationship. I think all of this is part of the plan. And now this new character, Suzuki, he is being asked to go and find somebody named Shuichiro Korogi. He's like a physicist. He seems to be hiding something, and I'm guessing this is what's going to have to do with the end of the world. Maybe this SilentHxH person is doing something behind the scenes, some type of new weapon, something that would cause the end of the world if it doesn't go, you know, unchecked. So I feel like this is the reason. Maybe, I don't know, I could be wrong, but we have 17 days left. So yeah, a whole week went by. Absolutely crazy. Now, again, Odin in this episode did show us her omniscience power, right? Whenever Yota got into a fight with that loan shark, she had drawn every single step that Yota had to take in order to win the fight. Now, I don't know about you, but in the 3 episodes that we have seen, I never got the idea that Yota was such a good fighter. The fact that he was able to follow each step and win that fight should again tell you that Odin definitely has omniscient power. So it's not false. I mean, I don't see any evidence that would tell me that Odin is not a legit god and doesn't have the omniscient power, and that the world will not end in 17 days from now, right? So I really am looking forward to this, what is going to happen, because it seems to be like the days are rolling in fast. We're 3 episodes in, we have 9 episodes left, so it's going to get brutal real quick. The creator did mention that this anime was going to be very sad, the saddest anime he ever worked on. And now I haven't seen Angel Beats or Charlotte, but from what I hear, those 2 animes are very sad. So I can't even imagine what's going to happen, because for the first 3 episodes, everything seems to be very happy. Everything is very nice. We see Yota being happy with his family. Sora, in this episode, she's very happy because she was able to help her senpai. Again, in the later episodes, if Yota is able to conquer the girl he has a crush on, and they actually start doing a relationship and, you know, fall in love, that's all gonna come crashing down 17 days from now. So what's going to happen, right? It's definitely going to be very sad. I'm wondering if Sasuke is another god. Maybe he is. Who knows? But if he is another god, maybe, you know, they can work with Odin or something along those lines to try to prevent this stuff from happening. Again, I honestly do think some characters will die. My theory right now will be that either Yota would have to like sacrifice himself. Again, we know that a lot of these gods have very common names. For example, Odin, right? That sounds menacing, the actual name of a god, but really she goes by Hina, right? Then we got Sasuke, who also mentioned that, you know, hey, why don't you call me by my first name? And even though it wasn't revealed, I'm guessing it's going to be another god's name, but they're going with Sasuke. And heck, even Sora, you know, his name is actually a god's name. So the fact that, you know, maybe he is a god and he will have to sacrifice himself in order to save the world. Maybe the whole family would have to sacrifice themselves in order to save the world. Who knows at this point? I'm just, again, putting my tinfoil hat because I really want to know what's, one, going to cause the end of the world. I'm guessing is that SilentHxH person. And 2, what about Sasuke? Is he going to help prevent it? Is he going to help destroy it? Right? I really like the new character. Again, he seemed pretty cool, right? He seemed pretty cool. He was, you know, he loved the food. He was eating the food. He went and rescued a girl that was missing. So he did something good. But then again, we know he has the power to collapse the whole financial system. That could be a world crisis event right there, right? If he was to collapse the financial system of a country or of the whole world, you know, people would go into chaos. There will be, you know, riots, murder. A lot of stuff would happen that could probably cause the end of the world, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts. We got a little bit of a hint as to why the world would end in 17 days. It's that SilentHxH person right now. So I really am looking forward to the next episode. I can't wait what the next adventure for Yota and Odin are going to be. I'm sure it's going to be insane, but I cannot wait. So overall, I really like this episode a lot more than episode 2. Again, it kind of, you know, reinvented this episode really awesome with the whole restaurant saving stuff. I like that idea. And honestly, episode 5 or episode 4, I'm sure is going to be great once again, especially since the days are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, because once we get to day 0, boom, on what we know right now, right? So yeah, overall, great episode. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode. And like always, go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode.